Stop getting so easily impressed by women. You see, man, a lot of guys, what happens is when they first get to know a girl, just because she's pretty, just because she's sexy, just because she's attractive, just because she smiled at him once, he goes bananas. He can't take it. He's just like, yup, she's the one. I'm sold. I want her. I really like her. When truth be told, many times this particular guy doesn't know this girl well enough. He is impressed, sure, in terms of what he sees. Her physical features, her smile, her hair, her body. But besides that, lots of times the guys mess themselves up in the head because of the story that they tell themselves. They tell themselves that, yes, this girl, she smiled at me in this biology class in college, and she's also physically fit, she's sexy. So because of that, I'm sold. She's so special, she's unique, I'm impressed. Speaking of sold, that example that I just gave about the guy being impressed by a girl that he just met based off her looks and her smile, that's like you deciding that you are going to buy a house based on what you see on the outside. The siding, the window, the door, the grass. Sure, those things look amazing, sure. And they're kind of appealing for you to kind of want to go in the house, but you haven't seen how the house looks on the inside. Maybe the way the kitchen is set up isn't going to be to your liking. Maybe you're not going to like other aspects of the house. The whole idea is do not be impressed by a girl easily based upon just her looks, based upon if she smiled to you once, based upon if she was kind to you once. Instead, here's where you have to get more logical than emotional. You have to start asking yourself and be level-headed. You have to start asking yourself, sure, this woman is physically appealing, she's physically attractive, but does she have other things to offer? And truth be told, that question right there, does she have other things to offer? Offer in and of itself is different for every single person. You have to know what your values are. You have to have a list of values, yes, literally a list of values that are important to you and a list of values that you seek in a partner. Things that are must-haves and things that are should-haves. She should meet all of the criteria on the must-haves list, as long as you're being reasonable and you have those qualities within yourself. One of the qualities that are must-haves for me is a woman who's either really into personal development or she has the potential to be really into personal development. If personal development is not something that the woman is interested in, or at least she's not even remotely or considering being, pursuing personal development more, then that's a turnoff for me. Then that's a no-go for me because I value personal development so much. You have to make your own list and then see if this woman meets your values. See, the reason why you're impressed with this woman mainly is because your eyes are mainly impressed by her. Not necessarily your mind and body. Sure, you made your mind interested in her by thinking about her all the time. And when you think about something more, you actually become more committed to it. That's literally a psychological principle called the commitment and consistency bias, where the more you think about something and the more you're committed to it and do things that kind of make that thing flourish, the more interested in that thing you will be. Because you're letting her occupy your mind rent-free, that's the whole reason why you're interested in her so much. Instead, you need to be level-headed. And this is gonna come with experience. A guy who's seen a lot of girls and been on a lot of dates and been in at least one relationship, he knows this. He knows that, sure, there are attractive women out there. This woman's attractive, this woman's attractive. But will this woman actually impress me or not? You have to think like that. And this isn't an ego trip where you're sitting there and thinking you're the shit, you're better than anyone else. No. You just need to ask yourself, truthfully, does this woman impress me beyond physically? Because to be completely honest, dude, there are lots of girls out there who are very physically attractive. They're a dime a dozen. Sure, you want one. Sure, they're sexy. But besides that, what do they have to offer? What if she can't think for herself? What if she has other red flags? What if she's literally like a child? What if she's very immature? You never know until you vet these women. You have to learn to vet them. Vetting them, meaning going out with them several times and kind of qualifying them, not in like an evil way, but seeing, okay, how is this woman going to react in a certain situation? Not like you're testing her, but you just want to see by spending time with her and figuring out afterwards. Just because your eyes are interested in her doesn't mean your mind and heart are. But you make yourself that way because you keep letting these women occupy space in your mind rent-free. And you let them in your heart when they shouldn't even have been there in the first place. Sure, that woman who was in your biology class or whatever could have smiled at you and said, hey. And she could have been like, oh, you look really nice today. You're so cute. You're so handsome, whatever. And giving you her number and giving you her Instagram. Maybe you wanted to go on a date with her, but you were never able to, so you're just going bananas. What the hell happens? The whole reason why you're upset is because you let this woman occupy space in your mind rent-free. You were so easily impressed. Instead of being so easily impressed by those looks, understand that yes, looks are important. They're actually very important, especially to a man. But what else does this person have to offer? How do you know? You take them out. You go on a date with them. You go on a date and you have no expectations. That's the only way you're going to get yourself to the point of not being easily impressed after you do this several different times and building up experience. When you interact with enough women, you'll just naturally know. Sure, she has a nice smile. Sure, she has a nice body. Sure, she has nice hair, whatever. Sure, she has a nice voice. But what else is there? Something that impressed me recently, I was on a dating app, and on her dating profile, what it said was, the best book I read was ... and she filled in the blanks, Atomic Habits. Atomic Habits is actually one of my top 10 books, top 10 personal development books. I'm a total geek about personal development books, so when I said that, I'm like, okay, I'm definitely going to message her regarding the book. So long story short, if someone like that, right, someone who's into the same kind of books and the same type of things as me, and we actually develop a connection. I mean, this woman I didn't develop a connection with, but that's besides the point. And we actually develop a connection, I'm going to be sincerely impressed with her for her because of the values that she has, because what she actually has to offer. That tells you, if she's into a specific type of book, that tells you that she has the potential for you to be impressed by her. I said potential. Maybe she says something that catches your interest that aligns with your values. You see, guys, it comes down to values. It doesn't come down to just, oh, does she look sexy? Oh, does she have a nice ass? Does she have nice hair? No. You have to start training your mind to start thinking like that. And like I said, the only way you're going to do this is, well, first, obviously by training your mind. Second is by going out on actual legitimate experiences, talking to enough girls, going out on enough dates, connecting with a woman and seeing how the connection will build up. See how she handles drama. See if she has good communication skills. See if she's nice and easygoing and mature and feminine and girly. That's why I believe that this is a problem that a lot of men have, especially younger men, straight out of college, maybe in their early 20s. They don't know any better because they haven't built the experience. Some of these men are even in their late 40s. Some clients of mine, no offense to them, I'm just saying, this happens. They'd get hung up on this one girl at work. There's so many clients that this happened to, it's not even funny. They get so hung up on this one girl at work who at first gave them her number. She was so, nice to them. She was smiling, hey, how are you? Gave them her social media. But then later, she wasn't treating them the same way. Why? Because she probably never liked them that much in the first place. But instead, this guy, because he was impressed visually, he let the girl occupy space in his mind rent-free. Because he started convincing himself that, oh, she likes me so much, she's so special, she's so different from the other girls. This is what I used to do to myself when I was like 19 or 20 years old. I'd see a girl who's attractive, and once she shows interest in me, I'm like, oh, that's it. She's cute, and she's showing interest in me. That's so cool. Like, what could happen out of this? We could go on a date. We could start dating. It's like, whoa, slow down. This woman hasn't earned a spot in your mind or your heart yet. If and when she earns it, and that's a big if, by the way, if and when she earns it, then we'll start talking. But for the time being, you take the woman's number and you go out with her and you see what happens. Connect with her, see what happens with her. Open yourself up to different experiences. Have an abundance mindset. Check how it is with a lot of different women. The more women you interact with, the more experience you're going to build. And the more experience you're going to build, you're going to be more level-headed. And the more level-headed you are, the better decisions you're going to make. And the better judgment you're going to make. And the better you're going to be able to detect red flags from the very beginning. If you see a woman who's kind of like flaky, even though you've been doing everything right and the last date was like amazing and she went home and she told you this was an amazing date, I had such a fun time with you, but then all of a sudden you get flaky behavior from her, or she doesn't really respond as quickly, and in the back of your mind you're like, wait a minute, this reminds me of when I used to date this girl last year. She was showing some of the same signs, and because she was showing some of the same signs, I should probably back off. You see, that's because you have experience and you have better judgment because you built that experience. You're not letting your mind run just on autopilot. No, you're controlling your mind instead. That's why it's so important not to be so easily impressed by just any girl. And the whole purpose of this video isn't just to tell you that, oh, there's no special women out there, all of them are trash, all of them are this, because a lot of men nowadays think like that. They want to blame everybody else except for themselves why their dating life is not successful. They only blame women, they only blame their friends, they only blame this, they only blame that, instead of blaming themselves. Sure, I made videos of what a high-value woman is and how modern feminism, for example, is corrupting our society and it's changing the dating dynamics, but that's a different topic. That's one area or several or maybe a couple areas for which I'm blaming, feminism or things like that. But besides that, I take accountability. I ask myself, how could I do better? How could I be more attractive? How could I be more valuable to a woman? How can I be a high-value man? Why am I a high-value man? How am I a high-value man? Etc., 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 etc. That's how you have to think about yourself. And when you become better and when you gain better experiences, you're gonna see that not that many women have a lot to offer. to you specifically. And that's how it's meant to be. Not just any woman is meant to impress you just because, you know, she's hot and she has a nice smile. That's it. No. When you start programming your mind this way with your values, you start being less impressed in just any woman. Sure, you're going to be impressed, as you should, with certain women, only certain women, but not just any woman. And that's the point. So the whole point of this video is for you to get level-headed and make accurate judgments, keyword accurate, based upon your experiences and based on the values that are important to you and you specifically. Not your friends, not your family, not society, not the frat boys, not your friends in college, none of those. The things that are important to you specifically. And once you figure that out, you're going to notice that changes are going to start to happen because you started evaluating things differently in your mind, unlike you evaluated those things in the past.